What's up, people? It's your host, Arkansas Jeff. Now, back with another episode, unfortunately. Well, hopefully it's not unfortunately. Hopefully you enjoyed my episodes. This episode happens to be very, very entertaining. Well, at least to me, it might not be to you. I just recorded this entire episode, or at least I thought I was recording, until the camera shut off, and I'm like, man, why did it just shut off on me? Turns out I never hit record, and yeah, nothing. No. But anyway, on today's episode, I will be discussing the top 5 things I love about my 2019 Ram Rebel. I will be talking about specifically things that come on a standard 2019 Ram Rebel. Maybe not come on it, but have to do with a base model 2019 Ram Rebel. Because yeah, I could tell you, oh, number one, my panoramic sunroof, or number one, my Ram boxes. But those things are extras that I had to have specifically ordered. Well, the sunroof, you can find on random ones, but the Ram boxes I had to have specifically ordered. I don't know how good you could hear me with that fan going, so let me turn that off. You might not be able to hear me too good because of my pipes. But anyway, let's get started with today's episode. Number 5 being the infotainment center. That is the fifth thing that I love, or number 5 on my list of things I love about my Ram Rebel. Now, on a base model, it comes with a 8.5 inches touchscreen monitor, which is what I have. I have the 8.5. You can upgrade it and get a Ram Rebel 12, which is an upgrade, so therefore it don't fall in line with the base models. However, I don't really need the 12-inch screen. I don't like for everything to be digital. I love having the knobs, and they are sturdy knobs and little buttons where I could push and change the temperature, change the radio station, and things like that. The infotainment center, you can do so much with it. Now, granted, my used car salesman, which granted he sold me a brand new truck, but he was a used car salesman. Still, I'm still happy with Red River Dodge and my purchase. Don't get me wrong with me saying that, but I could tell what he was spitting games. He did tell me that anything I had hooked up on my phone, or on my, like if I'm watching a movie on my phone, it'll show up on this 8.4 screen. Turns out that was a lie. As far as I can find it, it's a lie. If I'm wrong and you know how I can make it where I can watch my movie, or the movie that I have on my phone on my screen, let me know. Leave me a comment down below, or private message me. Don't really matter. However, and that's not even a deal breaker for me. I mean, I still love the infotainment center. However, I like that I can hook up my phone. I came from a 2011 Chevy. It was dated. It didn't have all these little neat features. It did have the hook your phone up to it and do the call through your speakers, but it sucked. I hated it. I never used it. In my Ram, I use it all the time. I love being able to just hook my phone up to it, make my phone calls through the speakers. I can send texts. He'll read out my text to me. I love that. Don't even need the upgraded navigation with this truck, because your GPS will show up on the monitor. That's about the only thing I found that will show up on the monitor is your GPS, your navigation from your phone will play on there. And I love that. Another thing about this Ram Rebel, as far as the phone situation goes, is talk to text on my phone. I have a Samsung phone. It sucks. If you haven't noticed, I have an accent. I am a Southern boy, a Southern Samoan, believe it or not. So my phone don't pick up what I'm saying too great. Like, I'll end up having to go through it and type it out anyway because of my phone. However, anything I say on this through my speakers for my phone, Ram Rebel or Ram gets it correct. Like, I don't have to make adjustments. I might have made 1 or 2 before, but majority of the time it's perfect. So yeah, number 5 being the infotainment center. Number 4 would be the comfortability of the seats. Like, the seats are so comfortable. Everybody that has rode in my truck has always come to compliment the seats. It's just, as an old man, or well, I'm not an old man, but as I get older, being comfortable matters. And not knocking my Chevy, but the seats wasn't that great. It wasn't that horrible either, but it wasn't like what I'm riding in now. Sitting in this is nice. So there really ain't much to say on number 4 other than just how, I love how comfortable the seats are. And everybody else that has rode in my truck so far agree with me. Number 3, I'm going to stick with as far as comfortable goes for the seats on number 4, the smoothness in the ride is going to be number 3. Like, I love how smooth the ride is. It's like riding in a luxury vehicle. And it could just be because my truck was old, but my old truck was old, my 2011 Chevy. I put new shocks on it, and I thought it still could have rode better. What made me realize how bad my ride was my brother had me drive his Ram, and I noticed how smooth his Ram was, and I loved it. One reason why I started looking at Rams, because I've been a diehard Chevy fan, or GM product, for over a decade. I mean, almost 2 decades, I'd be willing to say. Until my brother let me test drive his Ram, and that thing was so smooth, which I wasn't even in the market for a new truck when I bought this one. So, number 5 being the infotainment center, more or less everything on the dash. Like, I love the cluster, love everything on the dash. Number 4 being the comfortable seats, just how comfortable the seats are. Number 3 being the smoothness in the ride. Like, I've had brand new vehicles before, but never such a luxury. So now we're at what, number 2? Ooh, I actually think I jumped ahead. I think 4 and 3 should have been 3 and 2. What was number 2? Like I said, I just shot this video, just not recording, unfortunately. Man, this is gonna be another long video. However, I've realized it don't take 24 hours for 10 minutes of footage. I was using the wrong editing tool to upload my videos. But back to today's episode. Number 2 was, what was number 2? Oh, the interior. Just, I mean, like, not trying to be broad with my 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. And if I was just saying the interior, but the interior in general, like the trim, the red, the black, I mean, I love it, every bit of it. I've always wanted to be different. I've always made all my trucks like you've seen in my previous truck, my review on it. I changed my truck up to make it different. I love that I don't have to do nothing to the interior, because the interior is already different. Yeah, it's the same as every other Ram Rebel, but Ram Rebels ain't common. But anyway, the interior, like, I love the interior. You got red trim, you got the black dash, you got some carbon fiber. Well, it's not really carbon fiber, at least I don't think so, but it has a carbon fiber design to it. Also, to go along with the interior is just the amount of space you have in here. Like, I don't like thinking of myself as a big guy, but I am a big guy, and I feel little inside this truck. So I love the interior. So it don't really matter. That could be number 2, number 4, it don't matter. It's on the list. Number 1, the number 1 thing that I love the most, and just the exterior, the aggressive look of the exterior. Mainly the headlights, or the front end mainly. The headlights in the hood is what made me fall in love with this truck. I was driving through the dealership with a buddy and his girl at the time. No disrespect to his new girl, which y'all seen him on the previous episode. I was riding around with Bradley and his ex-girlfriend. We went into the dealership, and we went in the dealership for him. He was wanting to look at, well, we both was just wanting to look at new vehicles. I wasn't really interested in buying one, but I saw the Ram Rebel, and I fell in love with the way it looked. And we went for a test drive, and fell in love with the way how smooth it was. Like, the acceleration on it was awesome. Now, I went back and test drove another one about a week later, and the acceleration on it didn't seem that great. I don't know if there was a difference in them or if there's too big of a difference. I would think they would have both be the same. However, as you've seen in one of my episodes or one of my videos, I fixed my acceleration, which my truck actually was just like the first one I test drove. The acceleration on it was awesome and already. Now it's even better in my opinion. Which I will be doing a Pedal Commander review video, so I really don't want to give too much away on it. I should have already had that up and running, but it happens. But yeah, the number one thing I love about my truck is the aggressiveness of the exterior. I mean, yeah, people say, oh, it's not as aggressive as the previous Ram Rebels, which I've never test drove a previous Ram Rebel. I did like the way they looked. However, they had too much of a bend in the hood for me, or a bow. It kind of looked like the front end on the previous Rebels, and I'm not knocking them, which I guess I am knocking them, but they reminded me of Gargamel off of Smurfs, to show you how old I am. But everybody knows who Smurfs are. But yeah, the nose on Gargamel reminded me of the nose of the previous Ram Rebels, which is one of the reasons why I didn't even bother with them. I've seen some pretty good Ram Rebels or previous Ram Rebels, and I'm not knocking all of them. I'm not even knocking the previous ones in general, because I do love them. I just love my 5th gen a lot better. So with that being said, number 5, see how fast I forget. Number 5 was the infotainment center. Number 4 being the comfortable seats. How comfortable you are in sitting in these seats. Number 3, staying on that same notion, is the smoothness in the ride. I mean, I kid you not, it feels like a luxury vehicle driving a truck. Number 2 being the interior in general. The trim, the amount of room. Like, from my understanding, the previous generations of Ram Rebels don't even have this much room. Like, they've increased the space by 4 inches, which is phenomenal. I mean, I loved how big it is in here. And number 1 being the aggressive exterior, the entire front end, more or less, the hood, the headlights. Like, and I can't show you right now because it's daylight. But I might put a clip on there. If I turn my turn signal on, like either direction, like an extra light comes on in that direction, that'll give me a better visibility, and I love that. Oh, this big truck almost backed into my brand new Ram Rebel. I might need to back up. All right, he's going forward now. I'm going past this vehicle. Well, maybe not. Something is going on. But anyway, hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did and you are not subscribed to this or to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, like this video, make a comment. I look forward to everybody's input. I'm working on improving myself, so if you got anything I could do better, and like sound quality, I got a new mic coming in, and right now I'm actually using the GoPro mic, because I didn't like the previous cord. My fire chief just went by, and the reason why I'm not going with him right now is because he's on like 3 different fire departments, and I am in the town next door over, so this fire that he's going to today has nothing to do with me. But if they do need my help, they will page us out. Back to ending this video. Appreciate it. Subscribe, like, comment. Until next time, Arkansas Jeff. Later.